In the quiet coastal town of Eastpoint, Florida, the sun rises over the Gulf, casting long shadows across empty motel parking lots. It's a place where secrets can hide in plain sight. The air is thick with salt and the promise of another ordinary day. But on April 23rd, 2018, the ordinary would be shattered. A secret would be uncovered, one so dark, it would haunt the community for years to come. It began with a simple walk. A local resident, out for a morning stroll, noticed something unusual at the end of a deserted cul-de-sac. There, lying motionless, was the body of a young woman. She was bruised, battered, and alone. There was no identification, no phone, no purse, just a lifeless figure left behind in the early morning light. The authorities were called, and soon, the quiet street was filled with the flashing lights of police cars and the low hum of anxious voices. Franklin County investigators arrived quickly. Among them was lead investigator Ronnie Jones, a veteran of many cases, but none quite like this. He would later recall the scene with a heavy heart. The woman's injuries were extensive. Bruises covered her from head to toe. There were signs of a struggle, evidence of pain and suffering. It was clear that this was not an accident. This was a crime of violence and perhaps of passion. The first challenge was to identify the victim. With no ID and no immediate leads, investigators turned to fingerprints. Within hours, they had a match. The woman was 31-year-old Aileen Seiden, a Miami native. For her friends and family, the news was devastating. Aileen was known for her vibrant spirit, her adventurous heart, and her fierce loyalty to those she loved. She was the kind of person who would give you the shirt off her back, always ready with a smile or a helping hand. But in the months leading up to her death, those closest to Aileen had noticed changes. She became more withdrawn, more anxious. She stopped returning calls, missed social gatherings, and seemed to be carrying a weight that no one else could see. Her best friend, who asked to remain anonymous, remembers those days with a sense of regret. Aileen was always so full of life, but something changed. She got mixed up with the wrong people, and I could see it was taking a toll on her. Those wrong people were Zachary Abell and Christina Araujo, Aileen's romantic partners. Together they formed a throuple, a polyamorous relationship that began in 2017. At first it seemed exciting, even liberating. The three shared adventures, laughter, and dreams of a future together. But beneath the surface, tension simmered. Jealousy, manipulation, and control began to creep in, slowly poisoning the relationship. Friends noticed that Aileen was often the odd one out. She confided in her best friend about the abuse she suffered at the hands of Zachary, and sometimes Christina. She'd call me crying. She said, "He hurt me again," but she was scared to go to the police. Aileen's fear was not unfounded. Christina's father was a high-ranking law enforcement officer. Aileen believed that reporting the abuse would be futile or even dangerous. She worried that her cries for help would go unheard, or worse, that they would bring more trouble. Despite the warning signs, Aileen stayed. She hoped things would get better. She believed in forgiveness, in second chances. But the cycle of abuse continued. The bruises became more frequent, the arguments more intense. Friends tried to intervene, urging her to leave. But Aileen was trapped by love, by fear, and by hope. In April 2018, the throuple set out on a road trip. Their destination, Franklin County, Florida. It was supposed to be a getaway, a chance to start fresh. But for Aileen, it would be a one-way journey. They checked into room 15 at the Sportsman's Lodge Motel. 3 people entered. Only 2 would leave alive. Inside that motel room, tensions boiled over. The details of what happened next would emerge only after months of investigation and years of courtroom drama. But the evidence would paint a picture of betrayal and brutality. When police searched room 15, they found blood everywhere. The scene was chaotic, violent. It was clear someone had died here. The bed was stained, the walls marked with the signs of a struggle. But Zachary and Christina were gone, and so was Aileen. It wasn't just a little blood. Whoever was here was probably deceased. The evidence linked the motel room to the body found on the roadside. The investigation now focused on the two people last seen with Aileen. Detectives tracked down Zachary Abell and Christina Araujo. Both denied involvement. Each pointed the finger at the other. But the forensic evidence told a different story. DNA, blood patterns, and cell phone records placed both suspects at the scene. The prosecution built a case. Aileen was beaten and tortured in the motel room, then her body was dumped miles away. The investigation was painstaking. Detectives combed through phone records, surveillance footage, and witness statements. They reconstructed the timeline, piecing together the final hours of Aileen's life. It became clear that the violence had been building for some time. There were previous incidents, moments when Aileen had tried to escape, only to be pulled back in by promises and apologies. As the case moved toward trial, the community watched with a mix of horror and fascination. The story of the throuple, the motel room, and the abandoned body became the talk of the town. For Aileen's family, it was a nightmare that would not end. They attended every hearing, hoping for answers, for justice, for closure. It would take nearly 6 years for the case to go to trial. In the end, both Zachary Abell and Christina Araujo were charged with second-degree murder. Christina took a plea deal, testifying against Zachary. She claimed she acted under duress, coerced by his violence. The judge sentenced her to 20 years in prison. Zachary Abell was found guilty at trial. He received a life sentence. For Aileen's friends and family, the verdicts brought some measure of justice, but little comfort. She deserved so much better. I just hope people remember her for who she was, not how she died. Aileen Seiden's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder of how love can turn to obsession and how secrets can destroy lives. In the aftermath, the community struggled to make sense of what had happened. There were vigils, moments of silence, and calls for greater awareness of domestic violence. Aileen's name became a symbol, a reminder that even in the quietest towns, darkness can find a way in. The memory of Room 15 lingers, a silent witness to a tragedy that should never have happened. For those who loved Aileen, the pain remains, but so does the hope that her story will inspire others to seek help, to speak out, and to remember that no one is ever truly alone. In the end, the truth came out. The secrets were revealed, but the scars remain, etched into the hearts of those left behind. In a small Florida town, the sun rises once more, casting new light on old wounds. And the story of Aileen Seiden endures, a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the enduring quest for justice. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the shadows of a true crime. If you found this story impactful, please like this video, follow our channel, and subscribe for more true crime stories that delve into the depths of human experience and the pursuit of justice.